Yo, what's good, my nephews and nieces? This is your favorite Uncle Demi, and today I have another special banger for you, man. Today I got college football 26 news, but before we get into the video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, as like of the video, push the video to the recommended, and of course subscribe and put your note again for my daily uploads. Without further ado, let's hop straight into this video. Okay, so as you can see here, we finally got, I guess you can call like a playbook of what we can expect with a few of the game modes of college football 26. Now, again, this will come out on July 10th, but you are able to get this early if you get the, I can't remember what package you'll get, but you're able to get it on the 7th, you go earlier. But really what I wanted to talk about is just a few updates that they have here. And so the first one we're gonna talk about is the true college gameplay. And it says our vision for what it means to experience college football continues to be wide open, fast paced, that's anchored by a swath of fundamental football features like stunts and twists, custom zones, and improved blocking and coverage logic. Utilize dynamic substitutions for easier fatigue management on the field, with additional upgrades coming to the wear and tear system. Now, the big one here is, again, two of it right there, the dynamic substitutions, which to me is going to be something that I'm visualizing. Hopefully what that will mean is that you will now be able to control, hopefully, like if your player gets to a certain amount of wear and tear, I'll automatically take them out. There is a lot of frustrations, of course, with, you know, how the substitutions were this year. But at the end of the day, we really I don't like to sit there and envision stuff, because when it's not what I envision, then I'm like, ah, man, this is crazy. So hopefully they exceed expectations with the dynamic substitutions, because this was very critical, especially in my Dynasty leagues that I run. And again, if you are interested, just look at the Discord link in the description and we can go ahead and get you set up for 26, man. Just go ahead and join my Discord and look to join. But the big one here is the wear and tear. I included wear and tear in my Dynasty leagues, but let's be honest, the wear and tear system, it was horrendous. I know a lot of leagues that didn't even have wear and tear activated because it was that bad. I know they made updates and made some changes to the wear and tear, but it's a great idea. It just wasn't implemented perfectly that you would want it to be. And again, this is 25 was a new game, so of course, you know, you got to give the game some time when it's adding new features. But I'm hoping that the wear and tear system this year correlates just how it would be for most dynamic players. Because let's be honest, if a running back can't get 25 carries, like the wear and tear system, if you have a running back with 25 carries and he's not a power back, he's basically just getting this, like, there is no need to run him. But let's be honest, there's a lot of running backs in college football that run the ball 20, 25 times and they're not affected. So to me, the wear and tear shouldn't be where a running back, for some reason, is only limited to 10 carries and that's it. You have to put in somebody else. That's how it really was this year. Power backs, the reason why power backs were so great in Dynasty mode was because if you got a power back that had a lot of speed, then the wear and tear didn't affect him, and that was kind of how everything went. But let's be honest, there's shifty players, there's players that are really great, and even someone like, you know, Genty, for some reason, shape, and form in Dynasty mode was a receiving archetype. Even though he was damn near 99 in every category, but he was a receiving archetype, and you ran the ball 12 times with him, he had wear and tear that was unbelievable. Like, you couldn't even run with him no more. And Genty in real life was running the ball 30 plus times a game. So hopefully they fix that wear and tear, because again, it is one of those things that if they don't do it right, people are just going to cut it off and not utilize it in their Dynasty modes. Okay, so another one says with 2,800 new plays. Now, of course, we knew this was going to happen in unique schemes like Rice's modern option and Penn State's gadget heavy. Now, the gadget heavy played, I don't want to use pun words, but heavily on, what's the guy named? The tight end, because he played every position for them. I'm drawing a blank right now for him, but he was just drafted top 10, I think. Was it Watson? I can't remember his name, but regardless, so you're basically, if it's gadget heavy, it's pretty sure it's going to be something to where you can utilize a person, if you put him in that position where he's like the gadget player, where he can be able to play quarterback, running back, you know, all that in one. And I think that's going to be really fun to use. I'm not familiar with Rice's modern option, but again, something else that was really dope this year was UTEP. UTEP offense was really, really good. Not UTEP. Golly, I'm really drawing blanks all over the place. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The team that had like the go-go offense and stuff. So I'm pretty sure that's something that can be played off of. I'm saying UTEP, but it's going to come back to me. It's early in the morning. Y'all give me a break. Again, the real world coaches, that's cool. I mean, that just helps with another dynamic realistic, but that doesn't affect gameplay. So I'm not really big on that. But we already know the cover. You had Kirby Smart, and you had James Franklin, and you had Dan Lanning, and of course you have Day right here. So you have these big coaches that are in there. Okay, I'm talking about here. It's right here. Wear and tear everywhere. The advanced wear and tear system delivers more realism. I hope so. And is now fully customizable to fit your playstyle. That is perfect. So maybe you can go to options and really tweak it a little bit to make sure it's more realistic than what it is. I like that. Manage fatigue strategically and save your favorite playmakers. Okay. Fundamental football achievements. College Football 26 fundamental football gameplay starts with improved coverage to give you confidence in shutting down your opponents, and improved blocking to reward players' left stick skills between the tackles. So this is important because, again, and it's always going to be an issue when it comes to coverages and defense. But let's be honest, 26 was more of a arcade. I mean, 25 was more arcadey, and it was more run and gun. The defense was really tough to play. Now, if they make the defense better this year, that's great. But I don't want it to be to the point where what makes 25 so fun was the fact that we accepted the fact that it was arcadey and it was run and gun, and it allowed it to be a different type of style and play from Madden. And to me, sometimes that's okay, you know? So if you're going to make it more defense and defensive heavy and stuff, let's be honest, people love offense. They love scoring. They love that whole feel. So nobody wants to be playing, 5-6 minute quarters and the game's going into the fourth quarter all the time. And it's always, 13 to 7, and it's a dogfight, scrape it out. So hopefully it's not like that, but I'm always welcome to, improve defense. It says field changes to your upgraded physics-based tackling system with new tackle types and enhancements to the hit stick. I love that. I did feel like that the CPUs were like literally get warped right into you though when you were trying to hit the edge. Like I felt like even though you had like 4 feet on them, for some reason like they just kind of warped up and tackle you. But hopefully that gets looked at and fixed. Experience greater control on both sides of the ball with the ability to call different stunts and twists to optimize your pass rush. New custom zones feature a really dial in your coverage at the line of scrimmage, and several new abilities that we can't wait to talk about more. So I cannot wait for the new abilities to come in, because in the archetypes, I felt like that what really made the game so much fun. Bunnies, everybody was looking for somebody that had quick jumps. So that was pretty overpowered, the quick jumps on the defensive side. And then of course on the offensive side, anybody that had the ability to avoid wear and tear, and then of course the ability to move left and right with the change of direction. So to be able to have that, those abilities were amazing. But at the end of the day, tone it back and let's see how we can kind of level things out with all abilities having a place. Like for quarterbacks, being able to have field general, that was extremely OP in Dynasty Mode, especially in user games. If you had field general, you knew the coverages and you knew who was blitzing, that was pretty like, damn. So what is something that we can do to negate field general on the defensive side, right? I think that will be perfect. There should be a yin and yang for everything, so just keep that in mind. Stadium Post is going to be fun, but I don't know if they're going to bring that up next game level. All right, so next level gameplay, they haven't talked about Stadium Post yet, but it says fill the stadium. Okay, it is next game, next level gameplay. Fill the stadium shake as you discover more of your school's unique pageantry, traditions, and sounds with new PA tracks. Okay, we know how people love drum lines with the menu last year. We're going to change it up for 26, bringing back new marching band covers for popular songs. Okay, broadcast and commentary, show off your championship. So did they even talk about? We want to immerse yourself in unforgettable day atmosphere with electrifying sight, sounds, and traditions. So I feel like, the game is going to be great. It says, saddle up in Stillwater, host the Golden Egg, and raise a sword as the king of turnovers at Coastal Carolina. We want to surround you. Okay, so that is all going to be great. Here we go. Experience enhanced Stadium Post effects, including a more intense camera shake. That's going to be weird. New heads-up display visuals, so that should be great. But this is weird. Clock distortion that simulates the high pressure of plays as a visitor in hostile territory. That sounds stupid. Rivalry games, the college football playoff, and other high-stakes matchups are now even more affected by stadium pulse. Let me tell y'all something here, man. And anybody that played football, high-level football, right? If you played D1 or whatever, or if you're just you just understand the football, you watch a lot of college football, or you just know the insides of how offenses are called and that type of deal. It is virtually, I want y'all to understand this, it's virtually impossible, right? No matter how hostile territory is, for people on the offense, the technology and advancement of offense is so crazy this now. It's virtually impossible for individuals not to know what they want to do on an audible. Okay, understand that. Yeah, if you have like a person that makes a mental mistake, okay, whatever. But this hand signals, the visuals that you get on the sideline, the QB literally telling you, right? I mean, like in 25 was so frustrating. If you were to tell your running back to block, and you're right there beside the quarterback can literally turn to him and is like, yo, block that linebacker there. Okay, cool. But for some reason, you try to audible from the block, he's shaking his head, he's all confused. And I'm like, dude, like, are you kidding me? He's right there beside the quarterback. He's telling him to block. Why is he experiencing this? So I know college football is trying to figure out a way to get the effects of gameplay, but the person that's really feels those effects would be just your ratings dropping. Okay? But the receiver's nervous, he's in the field, he's a deer in headlights, so now he's a little nervous, so he's not gonna be able to catch the ball as well. That should be the effects of home field advantage. But if you're gonna tell me that, a modern day 2025 offense, right, no matter what stadium you're in, no matter how loud it is, and you're gonna tell me that a wide receiver playing in any offense is going to look to the sideline and see the wide receiver coach and give a signal and then going to be like, I don't know what he's talking about. He's going to get pulled off the field, right? Like, come on, let's be honest here, right? These guys know the signals. They know the plays like that. Let's not do that. Let's not make it seem like a home field advantage is going to kill them that much. Let's not make it seem like a running back standing right beside a quarterback is not going to understand when a quarterback sits and tell them like, yo, I want you to run a flat right here. Or yo, like block number 52, right? Let's change it. The attributes should be affected, right? The attributes, should be affected, but not them not knowing how to run a route, right? Like that is like not in 2025, man. Like 2025, it's a different time. They will be upgrading the broadcasting and commentary, which again, that's dope. But the big one here is they will be giving the trophy room is back. So now is your chance to show off to your friends and rivals how successful you are. There will be multiple ways for you to earn different kinds of trophies. Coach and manage your program in Dynasty. Focus on your journey as a college football legend and road to glory. Dominate online and road to the college football playoffs. I think that's going to be a big one, because if I wasn't playing Dynasty, I was playing the college football playoffs online mode, and then it says coming classic rivalry games. Okay, so complete in classic rivalry games and play now. That was in college football 14. That was really dope to be able to do those moments and get those trophies. So we know about Dynasty Mode, and Dynasty Mode is going to be really fun because that's one that I really highly play in. I love playing it with open leagues with 32 people and playing in them. I just think that's dope. This is where things that stand out to me. It says you want to see meet your legacy as one of the best coaches, assemble an elite staff, upgrade your coaching abilities, and then lay it out on the field. Navigate the now expanded and more unpredictable transfer portal featuring thousands of players each year. So that is something to keep in mind. The transfer portal was pretty cut and dry, but there's so many different variables in that, and there was some things that were really frustrating because it felt like most of the players in 25, they really transferred back to their hometown. That was pretty much it, right? So if a player from Alabama, but he was from, I don't know, Pennsylvania, the likelihood of him going to play for Penn State was really high, right? That's why Georgia continuously and Florida teams continuously got like all the people on their team, because like a lot of these kids that were really high and that was transferring, they were from Georgia, they were going right back to Georgia. Georgia would have literally like 4 transfer quarterbacks and they're all like 90 something. And y'all know what I'm talking about. So hopefully they fix that, right? That was a mess. We know crossplay is here, which we kind of already knew, so that's not really shocking. So crossplay is here. It says personal management has never been more important, with new location-based visits having the potential to give your program an advantage in recruiting. So I'm not sure if like what they mean by that, by new location-based visits. What does that mean, right? So that's something that I would definitely want them to elaborate on, hopefully in the next week or two. Land critical talent for your team by managing new dynamic deal breakers and traits while trying to retain your favorite playmakers and cement your program's legacy. And I think that that's going to be huge because, you know, again, 25 was the first year. It was just pretty basic about like why people were staying. But let's be honest, a lot of kids are, you know, leaving and going. Yeah, playing time was big, but to me, it just seemed like they could elaborate more on just why kids were transferring, how to maintain them, and then now they have dynamic deal breakers. So that guessing that means is if something is dynamic, it's always moving and changing. So for the first couple of weeks, it might be playing time, right? And then after the playing time, you know, he's finally getting playing time, but then it's like, okay, well, you know, I want to play for a championship contender, you know, so the dynamic portion of that is going to be great because you know how it is when you're dealing with teenagers. One day they like this, the next day they don't. So that's something that's going to be pretty dope. Road to Glory, again, it's going to be a big one here, and it says choose your 10 new archetypes, and that is where you start to understand that now there's 10 new archetypes. Now, I don't know if that means, you know, like how the quarterback, you had a scrambler, you had an improviser, you had a field general, that was 3, and then the running back had 3, right? So when they say 10 new archetypes, does that mean that there are 10 on top of the ones that we already have, or are they completely different? Right? But one thing I will say is that what I loved about the playing online mode versus Dynasty was that on online mode, you had these archetypes that were mixed together. Like Genty had, you know, receiving archetype, he had a power back archetype, he had elusive archetype, he had badges for all 3 because he was just that dynamic and great. Same thing for Travis Hunter. A lot of these great players, they had that. But when you played in Dynasty mode, they just put them into a actual archetype, and a lot of the times it wasn't the archetype that you would want. Like receiving archetype for Genty is the worst possible one. Everybody would probably wanted him to be, of course, either a power back or probably since his change of direction is high, he could probably potentially get, you know, change the direction on platinum, then, you know, an elusive back. So that is something that I really hope is addressed, is that, you know, if some way, shape, or form, individuals are able to blend archetypes together, because at the end of the day, you know, you don't really want to be cookie cut. I come from NBA 2K community. You don't want to be cookie cut into just one little archetype, especially if you want to make a superstar. So hopefully there is a way or ability to, once you hit a certain overall, that you're able to do that, okay? It says build your highlight tape and earn an offer from your dream school. So I think that's dope, because you know, a lot of in this day and age, people, that's what they do. They're doing highlight tapes and submitting them. It says rise in class rankings into your scholarship before other recruits, along with the new tier of abilities available to reach for your athlete. New tier of abilities. That's pretty good. Earn coach trust, build your chemistry, navigate to competitive recruiting process. Commit early if you find the perfect fit or decommit if you get better opportunities. So you can commit and decommit. So that's pretty dope. It says build your dream roster from the college football ultimate team. We kind of know what that is. We don't wait for more information to come out that. Road to college football. It says be a team to beat in college football playoff and make the most of your home field advantage. Climb the ranks, take down opponents online, and dominate in a new progression system. Fill your personal trophy room with gold and capture national championship to bring. So the big one is going to be here is, will you have to still use the playbook of the team you're using, or will they allow you to use customs? Me personally, I feel like you should let them use the playbook of the team they have, because what's the purpose of playing Dynasty Mode and Team Builder or College Football Ultimate Team, where, you know, like you want to have to differentiate between the game modes and have unique challenges to each. So again, that's my opinion, but I love the fact that I can play Ultimate Team and have, you know, custom playbooks and blah, blah, blah. Whereas in college football playoff online rank mode, you're basically playing more traditional style. You're running with their playbooks, you're playing with the team. You know, I just love that whole aspect. And then Dynasty Mode has this, of course, unique way too. Team Builder, it says don't worry college football 25 fans. We'll be able to import your custom teams from last year seamlessly. So that's a big one. Ensuring your favorite created teams can be brought over with new features in Team Builder. You can refine your team's detail, explore the enhanced roster editing options, allowing for greater control of your identity and legacy. Stay tuned for the Dynasty deep dive to learn, so that's gonna be coming really soon too. So all in all, I'm excited, man. Like, you know, I felt like this was a great product. There was a reason why College Football 25 was the second highest selling game of all time behind GTA, and they are literally can crush it if they continue to not go too crazy left or right, stay where they were at with 25, making some subtle adjustments, continue to listen to the community, and you have an absolute banger of a game in 26. So there you have my nephews and nieces. Let me know in the comment section what you think. But other than that, it's your favorite old head, Uncle Demi. I'll be back really, really soon on the Banger, man. You know, when I say back soon on the Banger, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about tomorrow, man. I'm out.